Education has always been a little bit challenging for me. In high school, I was always quite gifted. And so I progressed through school quite well, but as I got towards the latter half of my secondary education, things started becoming really difficult. One of the biggest challenges was when my parents divorced, and I became a carer for my brother during that time, which made high school really hard. Additionally, financially, things were really challenging. We didn't have a car for a couple of years, and we had to move house, and that was a struggle, moving into a small rental where I shared a room with my brother again at 18, which just made it even harder to kind of reach my full potential and really do the best that I could. When I finished high school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I knew I liked problem solving, so I decided to try healthcare. But as I started to explore healthcare, I realised that becoming a doctor was a way that I could really make a difference. I am a current student at the University of Newcastle studying the Joint Medical Program, which is our medical degree, studying to become a doctor. With everything going on, I didn't ever really consider myself being someone who was struggling or someone who needed extra support. I only recently have kind of reflected on how difficult things were and how many challenges I had during that period. I only really started getting support quite recently and was lucky enough to be able to speak to a psychologist and apply for things like the Shaping Futures scholarship, which is something I never even thought I was eligible or good enough for. It made such a profound difference in my life. It wasn't just the financial benefit. That took a lot of the stress off and was able to help me progress through my studies and support my family, but it was just also knowing that I was good enough and I was heard, and that someone had acknowledged that things were difficult. Going through domestic violence as a child, I was glad to see how many scholarships and opportunities there were for people who'd gone through similar situations like myself. Being able to get a scholarship was just the most fantastic feeling. It shows how much we all stick together and we all acknowledge that some of us do go through hard times, but that it doesn't necessarily shape us as a person. It doesn't close doors. Health equity is always something that has driven me in medicine. After my second year GP placement, where I was able to go to Inverell, I realised quite quickly that rural healthcare was something I was really passionate about. I see myself in the future being in a rural community and being able to serve the community in the ways that they just so desperately need.